I read a quote from the owner and executive chairman of LAFC, Peter Guber. He told the LA Times a few years back, when you build an organization, you build a culture, and culture is your business plan. I've spent a lot of time thinking about that, like just pondering it in my head. But what does that mean to you, that culture is your business plan?
I think culture is the heart of your business plan. I mean, you can try to optimize revenue all you want, but I think that's the foundation of how we approach our business. First, it's internal culture, and then there's external culture, right? How you externalize your culture. Internally, look, we were like five, six people sitting around to 10 people per year trying to figure out how to build a club and a stadium. And everyone's willing to chip in. Everyone was pretty humble of how they approached it. And then we grew from there. And there was a lot of work. There was a lot of sleepless nights, and everyone's playing multiple roles. And when you work in a startup, that happens. But for us, we're just crossing lanes and possibly sometimes driving drunk a little bit of crossing those lanes. But it was really important for us to have that kind of centered in a mission that we wanted to achieve. And it was like building it for the community and the people. And that's how we charge ahead with it. And then when you talk about community that we have, that was our culture. We're building a community, and that has to be consistent. And how we communicated it to the city of Los Angeles with 10 and 11 other sports teams. The Dodgers were here, their
Yeah.
legacy, the Lakers, you know, um, our culture, not about the product on the field or a player or a coach, went first, and it was critical to everything that we did. So we talk about community, experience, and people. That's culture. It wasn't like anything else particular that's business or frigid or rigid.
I love that idea of marrying the internal and external culture, that the way you operate your business and the way you operate in the community go hand in hand. I think that's so important to know.
Yeah,
The
and just
pandemic
to
is, go ahead.
let
Go
me
ahead.
let
Yeah.
me, let me note that and internally and both externally, internally your culture evolves, right? And as you get bigger, you go through the cycles of business, and it's not easy. And when externally too, it causes conversation about brand. It's brand is perception of your brand by the people when that evolves. So these things are really important to note as you grow and try to stabilize. And it's interesting because I think a lot of conversation professionals in the sports industry, well, you build a building, you build a new team, then 3 years later, what do you do? But
Hmm.
for us, how do you continue to innovate and do different things to actually really make it interesting and also build on a more successful brand and community and so forth? And so we're just seeing this great trajectory, and we're going to keep going.